Gaia and Ubuntu, welcome friends to this Nova Sutra's Equinox celebration. And we're waiting for folks to arrive on the Zoom call. We are live streaming on YouTube, so I'm going to say a welcome to those folks and give a few moments more for people to arrive via Zoom. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's always so strange to be in this space with no one here yet. So I will probably edit this out of the recording later, but maybe I won't. Anyway, we'll see. Okay. So we had a few people register via our Eventbrite. Just going to drop that into the YouTube chat for anyone who might come across this. Welcome, Carol.
Hi.
Hi. So we are live streaming on YouTube, and we have a few people who registered on Eventbrite. So I want to make sure that we make some space for them to show up. We're expecting, let me see in here, Mary and Teresa. Oh, and you. Okay. Thanks.
I have to go to the bathroom though, so I'll be back in a minute.
All right. And Carol, I'm muting you while you're out. Gaia and Ubuntu, and welcome Kendon. We are also live streaming on YouTube, as is our practice. This one's public, just so you know. And we have a couple more people who registered ahead, so I want to make some space in case they do find their way in.
I'll stay muted because of the chickens.
All right. So our plan for today is we're going to do, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about Nova Sutras, our Earth's Three Green Hearts project on equatorial rainforests and how that relates to the equinox. Then we'll go into our typical octal meditation, so a guided meditation section. Then we'll have some time both for some open conversation and a little structured ritual, and send us on our way by 5:30. So that's the outline as we have it now, and we'll see what happens as we move along. So just want to be available and not too repetitive for the recording. I know some people might be watching the recording later, so the less I have to edit, the happier I'll be. So I'm kind of wanting to not get started until I'm really ready to start, and then have all of that together.
Hi, Kenton. You're muted.
Hello, Carol.
Oh.
Fancy meeting you here.
I told Michelle that I'll stay muted unless I'm speaking because of the noise my computer makes.
The dancing chickens noise. Yes.
I actually can't hear that right now.
Well, he's muted again.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go add more tea to my tea.
All right. Oh, hey, Leoma, welcome. Good to see you. So we're waiting on, there were a couple of people who registered that I'm hoping will make it on, but I'm not going to wait more than another minute or two. Yes, I will repeat myself a bit. Just the plan is we're going to, I'll spend a little time talking about the connection between Nova Sutras, our Earth's Three Green Hearts project, and the equinox. And then we'll go into our typical guided meditation, have a little time for conversation, and then a ritual to close us out.
Okay, I'm gonna have to lie down because my back's protesting too many hours looking at computer.
Okay. Well, yeah, and we will be moving into guided meditation for about 30 minutes, which is definitely a good time to lie down if you want.
I think I'm gonna.
But if you're
Then one last email I have to do while we're waiting, and then
okay,
lie down.
and I'm just about to close out the waiting part, but that should be fine.
Enjoying my background.
Yes,
I don't know what.
I love that background. I had it for a while.
Yeah. You know, you can put your own background up. You can find it and somehow.
Oh,
input it.
she used that. Oh, yes, you can also use your own.
Paul
own
has
photographs.
a nice one.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's technologically beyond me at the moment, but that's quite all right.
I want to put Marilyn Monroe instead of me.
Welcome, whoever came in.
Hello, Mary. Welcome. Happy Equinox. Good to see you. Oh, and you're muted now. Feel free to unmute for a while. We're just hi. We're just getting settled in. We have one more person who registered who I'm hoping will make it in. But if not, we'll be going ahead in another minute here at most. And Mary, I'm curious, where are you watching from?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm here in Newfoundland, Canada.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. And you are where?
So I'm in California, in the Santa Cruz Mountains, just a little bit south of San Francisco.
I study at Holy Names and then with Brian Bloom in California as well.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
At what?
Pardon?
What was that you said about you studied at Holy Names?
I studied at the Sophia Center with in spirituality and culture, creation, spirituality and culture.
And that's in California, you said?
Yeah,
Where are you in Newfoundland?
St. John's.
Okay, I don't really know Newfoundland, but I do know there's a big national park there that's incredible. And I used to have a picture that I looked at frequently of a very high cliff with sheep all over it, or
Yeah.
some kind of mountain sheep or goats.
We have the park, Grossmorn Park.
A very
which is
beautiful place.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. We're an island. We're the most easterly point in the Atlantic Ocean across Canada, the most easterly.
You have quite an Irish sounding accent or something.
Yes, I do.
Mhm.
We have our ancestors are Irish.
Mine
that was
too.
Many moons ago, we were in Ireland. Just okay.
Happy belated St. Patrick's. Aaron Gobra.
Oh, I will acknowledge being a quarter Irish on both sides of my family, and to share something idiosyncratically that I haven't shared in several earlier Zoom meetings today. The surf is up because I have a view of the ocean and the waves are breaking.
Hey, I'll give another report too. The coast is clear. I don't want to be too profligate here, but all quiet on the Western Front. I enjoyed that myself.
All right. Yeah.
So Michelle, your minute has elapsed.
So yes, I would like to move us in now to the presentation portion of our celebration here. So this is an event in celebration of the March equinox, and the equinox itself is actually a very precise moment in time, which is now less than 12 hours away. So I consider us in the equinox. When it happens is going to be about 2:30 a.m. Local time for us here in California. So that didn't seem like a good time to have an event. But this is a global phenomenon. The equinox is actually that point in Earth's orbit, happens twice a year, when, because of the tilt of the axis, coming into alignment with the direction of the sun, essentially, or perpendicular to it, the sun is shining straight at the Earth's equator. Hence, everywhere on Earth today, day and night are nearly of equal length. But as it turns out, because the sun is large enough in our sky, day is always a little bit longer. It's always just a little bit brighter on the equinox. The other thing that's true on the equinox is that everywhere on Earth, the sun rises most precisely in the east and sets most precisely in the west on the days of the equinox. So these are happening when that tilt in the Earth's axis, the way the Earth spins, is not pointed toward the sun nor away from the sun, but off in a different direction entirely. And that is what drives the seasons outside of the tropics, even, of course, within the tropics a bit, because global weather systems interact and interrelate with one another. So we celebrate, in Nova Sutras, we actually celebrate the 8 times of the year. These equinoxes in March and September, the solstices in June and December, and then the cross quarters, those points in between them. So the equinox is defined as this time when the sun is most directly over the equator when viewed from Earth. And again, that's happening at about, well, 2:37 a.m. Pacific time. And at that point, where the sun will be overhead is actually in Eastern Africa. We're doing this celebration a little early, and because it's the equinox and the sun is really traveling on this path across the equator, it's an excellent time for us to focus our attention on the equatorial rainforests of the world, Earth's 3 green hearts. The Amazon forest, the Congo forest, and the forests of Southeast Asia, or Sundaland. So because right now the sun is actually over the equatorial Pacific, it's out about way out here, we're going to follow the path of the sun as we talk about these 3. So as the sun is moving westward, first it will cross Sundaland, then right around the precise moment of the equinox, it will cross the Congo basin, and then a little bit after the equinox, it will cross the Amazon a few hours later. I'll be walking us through that a little bit with our guided meditation in a few minutes, but before we got into that, I wanted you to have some images, the visual component in your mind. So these are some rainforest pictures, starting with some pictures of beings that we would find in Sundaland. And then beings from the Congo rainforest in the center of Africa. And then beings from Amazonia in South America. as we begin today, we'll actually start with a small ritual of calling the corners. And in Nova Sutras, we use this language of Gaia and Ubuntu as a shorthand to express some fairly complicated ideas. So I want to explain those and get you familiar with the terms. Gaia is a new word that we use in Nova Sutras as a recognition of both scientific and spiritual truths and where they intersect. That is a recognition of what the sciences have taught us about the incredible co-creative capacity of life on Earth, the way that life creates and maintains conditions to encourage even more complex, diverse, and beautiful life. That's called the Gaia theory in the sciences. We combine that term with a term that comes to us from early Christianity, agape. And that was a reference to transcendent, universal, or divine love. And so in Nova Sutras, we're using this term Gaia to recognize that this capacity for life to create conditions in which more life will thrive is an expression of transcendent love. The other term we use is Ubuntu. Ubuntu comes to us from the languages of Southern Africa, and it's an encapsulation of one of the important principles within Gaia, how life works, particularly focused on the way life is interdependent and about reciprocal relationships. Archbishop Desmond Tutu explained Ubuntu as saying, well, I am because we are, that no human can be who they are except in relationship to the others around them. And again, the sciences show us that this is true all over the living world, that plants depend on pollinators and seed dispersers in the animal kingdom. They depend on bacteria and fungi and other soil building animals around their roots in order to get nutrition. Animals and fungi could not even exist without plants because we rely on their incredible capacity to harvest the energy of sunlight and turn it into both the food that we need to nourish ourselves, but also the key to unlocking that energy, the oxygen that we need to breathe. Everywhere is this incredible interdependence, or what Thich Nhat Hanh calls interbeing. So we're going to start with a practice of calling the corners. And you may have experienced different calling the corners practices from indigenous traditions of North America, neo-pagan traditions based on Celtic traditions. In Nova Sutras, we don't use calling the corners so much to invite in the sacred or to open sacred space. We recognize that we are always in sacred space. And we use calling the corners instead to open ourselves to that which is sacred and to offer our well wishes, our blessings, the gift of Gaia and Ubuntu, this wish that all beings might thrive and become the best possible expressions of themselves. So we will do this first by going around the compass directions and up and down, and then by moving out in kind of concentric circles to recognize our connection with all beings on earth, but also to think about the very specific place where we are and kind of get our spiritual address, get grounded in that way. So that's the purpose of this practice. And as we do this, feel free to say it out loud along with. If you want to stand up and actually face the directions, I recommend that, but you're welcome to just sit and think about those different directions. But I invite you to really try and envision and hold in your heart what is in each of those directions or each of those spaces as we move through this. So I'm going to begin, and I'll have to very carefully back up so I don't knock things over, and do this standing. And I want to confirm, can you all hear me if I'm back here? Okay, just put your thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, great. Now we're in the late afternoon here in California, and Mary, I know it's already evening for you, so we're going to start in the direction where the sun is for most of us, which will be to the west. So I'm going to face the west for me. May all beings to the west abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings to the north abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings to the east abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings to the south abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings above abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings below abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May I abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings near me abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings in my watershed abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings in my bioregion abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings on this landmass, the continent known as North America or Turtle Island, abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings in the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and all the world's great oceans abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. And may all beings belonging to Earth's beautiful, bountiful, beloved biosphere abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. Now I'd like you to get settled in for a deeper guided meditation. You can just soften your focus and lower your gaze if you want. If you prefer to have your eyes closed, you're welcome to do that. Start by taking a few nice, gentle breaths, letting the air move in and out. Taking in this beautiful gift of oxygen from all of our plant kin, from all of the living green things that grow on this beautiful earth. Feel that moving into you, enlivening you. And note that with each exhale, you are letting go of carbon dioxide, letting go of what you no longer can use, sending it out where it may be taken up by one of these amazing green things that grow on this earth. Each exhalation sending gifts that might circulate all over the world. Each exhalation perhaps becoming a cherry blossom on a tree in Japan, a blade of grass in the Okavango Delta after a rain, perhaps becoming part of the trunk of one of our amazing coast redwoods to live on for 1,000 years. Every breath, a gift of a Gaia and Ubuntu. A gift of a Gaia and Ubuntu received, and a gift of a Gaia and Ubuntu offered. Breathing in and breathing out. Our whole atmosphere filled with these loving blessings of a Gaia and Ubuntu. When we think of Ubuntu, we are inviting an expanded awareness of our connection, our interbeing. As you breathe in, think about the beings you're familiar with, plants and people and other animals in the bioregion where you live. Thank them for the ways that they enrich your life. And let every breath carry that gratitude out into the world. all your food was once alive, and that life nourishes you. This is interbeing at its deepest level. And this is part of what we in Nova Sutras call Ubuntu. Everywhere in the world, these interconnections and interdependencies exist. As you breathe in, allow yourself to feel these connections of Ubuntu coming into you. And as you breathe out, send your gratitude for them along those radiating lines of interconnection. This gratitude to other beings with whom we share connection is just one facet of what we call a Gaia. A Gaia expresses the deep sense of wonder we feel when we catch the scent of pine in the air, when we see a migrating bird flying overhead, when we hear the crashing waves of high surf, the song of a bird, the voice of a friend. When we feel the warmth of the sun on our face, or the caress of a gentle breeze. And even when we gaze up into a clear night sky filled with distant stars. A Gaia expresses our profound connection to the sacred beauty of our universe. As you slowly inhale, invite this sacred joy of a Gaia into the center of your being. Then as you release your breath, send with it your feelings of gratitude to spread out into the world. Inhale wonder and joy, and exhale gratefulness for interconnection. Inhaling a Gaia, exhaling Ubuntu. A Gaia and Ubuntu. Recognize that we are on a small, fragile planet, traveling around the sun in a wide ellipse. Our sun is traveling as well, orbiting the gravitational center of our galaxy. So as the moon moves around our Earth, the Earth moves around our sun along with the other planets. And we're all moving through our galaxy, forming this beautiful winding helix through space-time with our travel. In this incredible spiral dance, we are just about to reach that place in Earth's orbit that marks what we call the equinox. From an earthly perspective, right now, the sun is over the equator in the Pacific Ocean. soon it will transit across Sundaland, across the Congo, across the Amazon. A brilliant midday sun directly overhead. If we were there where it's solar noon right now, perhaps on a raft, in a calm patch of ocean, the sun would be directly over us and we would cast no shadow except directly beneath us. The sun would go streaming down into those tropical waters. As the sun moves over the vast, sparkling immensity of the ocean, it begins to cross more islands as it approaches the rainforests of Sundaland, crossing through the Indonesian archipelago, crossing over Borneo to Sumatra. Imagine yourself now in that beautiful rainforest. The air is warm and moist. It's filled with the scent of dozens of different blossoms. Spicy scents from different leaves and tree bark. The rich, deep scent of earth, of the fungi reclaiming all the fallen leaves. Under the canopy of the rainforest, the air is usually still, very few breezes, and yet it is filled with activity and sound. The hum of every variety of insect. The calls of birds and monkeys. The flutter of wings as a great hornbill or a fruit bat flies overhead. Imagine yourself in that place, knowing that not too far away, there are tigers and sun bears and pythons. There are orangutans and beautiful silver leaf monkeys and clever macaque monkeys. Somewhere off in the distance, perhaps there's a forest elephant making its way slowly through the jungle, knocking a clear, wide path away from it. Settle in to this first of Earth's 3 green hearts. And open your own heart to this place. This place where life is its most vivacious, its most generous, its most cacophonous. This incredible profusion of joy, just the sheer ecstasy of being alive, of being part of this incredible tapestry of a healthy ecosystem. From this verdant place, the heart of Sundaland, we send out wishes that this great rainforest system can thrive. Wishes for healing and regeneration. Wishes that we repair our relationships with this land. Wishes that all the beings of Sundaland may abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. Following the equinox sun to the west, we move over the vast and stormy Indian Ocean, over the great volcanic mountains of Eastern Africa, over the home of the mountain gorillas. And we come to that point, that precise moment where the sun is directly over the equator, the headwaters of the Congo River. We follow the path of the sun westward down the mountains into the floodplains of the mighty Congo. Place so rich with life. Place that calls to our own primate roots. Our deep ancestors lived here. Humans have been living in these forests as long as we have been humans, and even longer. The indigenous people of these forests still strive to protect them. Again, we find the warm, moist air filled with sound, filled with both funky and delicious scents. Everywhere there are little creeks running by, adding the music of water to the music of birds, to the chatter of monkeys, to the hum and cry of insects. Again, we open ourselves to all the ways that Gaia is being expressed here in the thriving heart of the Congo. We open ourselves to all of the expressions of Ubuntu that characterize a living, healthy rainforest. And here again, we are invited to wish all beings of the Congo rainforest abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu, to send our wishes for healing and restoration, for the well-being of all who call this forest home, for all who depend on this forest. Here in the heart of the Congo, we send out wishes that all beings abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. And then following the curve of the Congo River itself, we move westward across the equatorial Atlantic, across the beaches of Brazil, and into the thriving heart of the Amazon forest. Once again, we are welcomed by gentle warmth, by still, humid air, by the smells of fruits and flowers, by the songs of insects and birds. Chatter of monkeys, tiny marmosets, big loud howler monkeys, calling out across this vast expanse. This largest of Earth's 3 green hearts. The Amazon is blessed with many dozens of intact indigenous cultures, all working to protect their forest home. All finding ways to live within a Gaia and Ubuntu. We send our wishes that all may be well, that the damage may be healed, that the forest may be restored. We send our wishes that all beings may thrive as their best possible expressions, that all beings may abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. Here in the Amazon, this rainforest under the bright equatorial sun on this day of the equinox. And with all that loving energy we have gathered from our travels to Earth's 3 green hearts, we shine our wishes for a Gaia and Ubuntu all around the world. we shine our wishes that all beings may abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. Like a beacon from our tiny, beautiful home world, hanging in the deep darkness of space. May all beings belonging to Earth's beautiful, bountiful, beloved biosphere abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May each one of us in this equinox practice together abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. Feel that beauty, that loving energy filling your heart space. Feel it pulsing through you, into your arms and legs, into your neck and head, into your feet and hands, into the tips of your fingers and toes. Maybe just gently start to wiggle those fingers and toes. Start to move those hands and feet, the legs and arms, the shoulders and hips, the spine and neck and head. And when you're ready, very gently bring your focus back to the here and now, back to where you are, and let your eyes seek out the beautiful things around you. Finding perhaps a piece of human-made art, perhaps a flower or a leaf, perhaps a glimpse of sky out the open window. Take that in for a moment and offer up a bit of gratitude for the beauty of the place that you are right now. I want to thank you for taking this time to be in this meditative practice, to be part of this movement toward global wellness and awareness, toward a vision of a world abiding in a Gaia and Ubuntu. So now I'd like to move us into a chance to talk. We ask that you listen and speak with good intentions and deep respect, with all the honesty you can bring. and welcome back. So before we move into other rituals or structured conversation, I just want to leave some space for anything that might be emerging for you right now, anything you want to say, anything that came to you that you want to talk about.
I think the whole sense of how we all are connected, you know, the interconnectedness and the interrelatedness, and even with the, you know, the awareness that everything and every person and every part of us is connected. You know, the insect pollinating the plant and the sun giving the energy and we eating it, and you know, we are all in that oneness, in that you know, we are part of all of the universe, and to think that we are reflecting that energy and that the universe depends on us to see its beauty and to speak its with gratitude for the greatness that we have been blessed with, and that we are so much a part of, and that, you know, that we are called to be in that centeredness and that oneness and that awareness. It's a wonderful moment to be alive, I think, and to know ourselves as part of that circle of life and that web of life, and that we are not above or below or the side or the left, but we're very much within all that exists. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mary.
I want to identify, if I can, there's a white, oh, lost it. There's a white dot out there just below a brown area, and that's an egret that is hunting in the grasslands outside.
Oh,
As something of beauty around us, I call it to your attention.
And where are you? What part of the world?
I'm in Santa Cruz on the Pacific. The Pacific is right there. That you're looking at it, although you can't see it clearly.
Yes, I've been there. I know. Yeah.
The egret is part of sort of the floodland aspect of this area.
Oh, thank you for sharing that with us, Kendall. Neoma, did you?
Okay.
Oh, hi, Carol.
I'm awake now.
Okay. Well, we're just coming back in after our meditation. I know you you need your rest, and I've been told many times that I'm very good at putting people to sleep, especially my students when I used to teach community college. So
There's something called SMRS, which is the abbreviation of words talking about sleep facilitation voice.
oh,
Thich Nhat Hanh has one too.
Yeah.
So there's a whole website with various YouTube videos that help you sleep by the people's voices. Can I say, Mary, I'm just thrilled to meet somebody from Newfoundland. It just it's a legendary place to me.
Yes, yes. We're a little island in the Atlantic Ocean, and we're connected with Labrador, the mainland, and they are part of our province as well. So it's really Labrador, Newfoundland, Labrador.
Yes, I've seen that on the maps. Labrador is pretty desolate place, huh? Pretty
Well,
wild.
yes, parts of it parts of it. It's very, very rich country in minerals and,
Hmm.
you know, and it has a big city and all of that as well. But
Yes,
it has,
what city is that?
Mhm.
The city in Labrador?
Yes,
What is that?
it's Labrador, and there's Churchill, and there's, you know, different
Churchill, yeah.
Churchill, and
Huh.
there's Labrador City,
Hmm.
the city in Labrador. Mhm.
And
And
Prince Edward Island and
Prince
Pemerson
Edward
Island.
Island is part of the Atlantic provinces. There are 4 provinces, and Prince Edward Island is also an island. And it's one of the Atlantic provinces. And we, Newfoundland and Labrador, and then you have New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. These are the 4. And we're on the eastern part of Canada. We're just, so yeah, we have, but our winters are a little bit different than what they used to be. We used to have a lot of snow and a lot of frost and all of that, but we have more milder winters, but we still have snow, lots of snow.
Hmm. I
Lots of
heard
snow.
the fisheries there was a problem with the fisheries.
Yes. We have a moratorium on cod fishery,
Yeah,
and they're coming back. We're hoping that will come back. But
yeah,
our main industries now, you know, is in tourism, and we have a lot of oil here that we're trying to stop.
there. Yeah,
You know, we're one of these oil companies. We were cod fishery was the main resource years and years ago, and
Mhm.
now it's the oil, which is the main resource. So we're trying to transition to more alternative forms of energy,
Hmm. Yeah,
and we're in a position for that because we're an island, and we have the ocean waves, and we have the winds, and we have the, you know,
yeah.
we're very hilly. We have a hilly country as well.
Very steep hills there. I've seen in pictures.
Yes.
My sister's stepson, his mother lives there, Newfoundland.
Oh, really? What would be where?
I
What
don't know where, and I don't know what her name is even. I think her name is June.
No, I mean surname.
I don't know her surname. McClintock was what was the man she was married to that is now married to my sister. So her son grew up in the U.S. with his father.
Oh,
Got to visit his mother in Newfoundland frequently.
oh yeah.
Every year anyway.
Is this being? Can I just ask, Michelle? Is this being taped? You know, are you taping this, or do you
Yeah,
have?
so this is actually live streaming on YouTube simultaneously.
So will
And then that recording will be available later.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm not sure if I can stay for all of it right now. It's going for 10 o'clock, and I have a little.
Yes. Oh, yes. It is much later out there, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
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 Well, we plan to go
Myself.
just for another 20 minutes or so. I had one more little sort of ritual practice that I'd like to do with us when we're ready. But I wanted to invite if there's anything else that wants to be said before we move into that.
Yeah.
I have to go. Excuse me, Mary.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to say I have to go, and it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to have a copy though of the ritual that you have, and that will be on, will it? That will be available afterwards.
So yeah, so that will
And your reflection was really beautiful. I would really like a copy of that as well.
yeah, so all of that will be available. I'll send you a follow-up email.
Yeah. Yes. Do you have a center, or are you working with an organization?
Yeah, so our organization is called Nova Sutras, and here, let me go ahead and just share some information with you before you go.
Do you
So-
work there?
Hmm?
Are you a religious, or are you a
we're sort of we're sort of trying to figure out what we are is actually what's going on. So definitely a spiritual community, but sort of an interfaith openness. And most of what we do is more around both conversations and other practices that support well-being.
Okay.
And
So
in
this is the
particular,
website?
so the website is novasutras.org. And we do a lot of online events by Carol. Things we have coming up. This coming week, there will be a meeting about focusing practice, which is a little bit of a different modality for well-being, and Kendon can speak a lot more to that. He's our resident expert now. We'll have, I work on a phone app called Insight Timer and do live sessions, and there have a few recordings there. So later in the day on Tuesday, I'll be giving a talk that goes into more detail about that calling the corners practice. I actually use that as a daily practice in addition to for ceremonies and rituals and celebrations. We have a learning community, which is mostly sort of conversation and tools for building and setting intentions largely.
Okay. Mhm.
And then we have these open discussions every Thursday.
Okay.
We also do, as I said, these octal celebrations. So the next one will be the cross quarter, which is the astronomical timing is May 4th, May 5th.
Okay.
I won't do it at that time, so it will probably be the day before, and I haven't set that up yet.
Say
we
also
have-
for
I'll
Michelle,
find them. I'll find it on your website.
Yeah. So and
Okay.
we have newsletters and blog post articles and all
let
of the
me
usual
also
social
say
media.
for Michelle that the 3 green hearts is a particular Nova Sutras climate change initiative.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right then. Thanks so much now.
All right.
Okay. And nice meeting you all.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for being here.
All
It's
the
great
best.
to meet you. I hope we see you
You.
again soon.
Yes. Yeah. All right then. Bye
Take
bye.
take care, be well, and good night.
Good night.
Good night. Yeah.
Hello, you all.
Hello.
Hey, a couple of my favorite people. Are you both able to hang with it so we can do this little ritual activity? It'll be a little strange with the 3 of us, but and Leoma, I know you've done this at least once, but I was going to do that 4 abodes practice.
For what? Who?
It's called 4 abodes,
I vaguely remember.
learning to see each other.
Okay.
So in Buddhist practice, there are 4 what they call heavenly abodes, or the 4 immeasurables: loving kindness, compassion, joy in the joy of others, and equanimity.
Right.
And so this practice is a way of building your own internal response when you see other people, to come from those places or to move into those places. And so how we did this online is just, we have the anonymity of not really being able to follow eye gaze exactly on Zoom.
Yeah.
So for each of these 4, shift your attention to one of the others in the room, and I will take us through some invitations to really evoke those abodes. So let your eyes rest on one of the other people here. And recognize that before you is a brilliant and beloved human of planet Earth. Have the opportunity to behold the uniqueness of this particular being and enter the first abode. So open your awareness to the gifts and strengths of this being. What you know and what you can only guess. Behind those eyes are unmeasured reserves of courage and intelligence, of patience, endurance, wit, and wisdom. There are gifts that even this person is unaware of having. Consider what these powers and potentials could do for the healing of our world if believed and acted on. As you consider this, experience your desire that this person be free from fear, free from greed, free from hatred and confusion, free from all the causes of suffering. As you feel how much you genuinely want this, know that what you are experiencing is the great loving kindness, some of the best medicine for healing our world. Now I invite you to bow to this person or take your leave in any way that feels right. Now again, through the magic of Zoom, let your eyes move around and find another person to alight on. Imagine taking their hands in yours. Open your awareness to the unique, unrepeatable human being that you now behold as we enter the second abode, the abode of compassion. Let yourself open to the pain that is in this person's life. As in all human lives, there are sorrows in this one. Though you can only guess at them, there are disappointments and failures, losses and loneliness and abuse. There are hurts that this person may never have told to another human being. You cannot take all that pain away, but you can choose to be with it. Choose to sit in friendly presence beside that pain. As you sense your readiness to be with another's suffering, know that what you are experiencing is the great compassion. This too is excellent medicine for the healing of our world. Again, bow or take your leave in any way that feels right. And let your eyes move across the eyes of others and come to rest on a third person. And as we enter the third abode with this other person, put your hands into prayer pose. Behold that person before you. And consider how good it would be to be joyfully working together, to work on a project that you share, to work toward a common goal, maybe to do something big, something world-changing. Think what it would be like to plan and plot and maybe scheme and conspire together, to take some risks, to discover each other's strengths in working together, to celebrate the successes along the way, to console each other over the setbacks, to forgive each other when you mess up, and simply to be there for each other. As you open to that possibility, you open to a great wealth, the power in each other's powers, the joy in each other's joy. Again, bow or take your leave in any way that feels right. And then once again, look around our little circle together and let your eyes find another person. As you look at this new person, we enter the fourth and last abode. Let your awareness drop deep within you like a stone, sinking below the level of what words can express. Drop to the deep flows of relationship that interweave our lives through space and time, through myriad encounters and countless forms. See this person before you as if seeing the face of one who at another time, in another place, was your lover, was your enemy, was your parent, was your child. And now here we meet again on this brink of time, almost as if by appointment. And we can recognize that our lives are as inextricably interwoven as the nerve cells in the mind of a great being. Out of this web of connection, we cannot fall. No stupidity, failure, or cowardice can ever cut us out of this living web, this network of Ubuntu. What we truly are is part of this great fabric of existence together. we can rest in that knowing, rest in the great peace that that brings us. Out of that peace, we can act. We can risk anything. We can let each encounter be another homecoming with our true nature. Again, offer a bow or any other closing that feels right to you to thank this person. To welcome the new person in the room. And I invite you, as you go through this weekend, to look at the next people that you see, or even to look at your own face in the mirror and try to dwell in these 4 abodes. Regard each person with the recognition that within them are the gifts for healing our world. Within them are powers that can be channeled to the joy of all beings. Indeed, it is so. Welcome, Ray. Thanks for dropping in. Looked like you were bringing a book. Oh, you're muted over there.
There we go.
I'm the new Leoma. I've been transformed.
Quite.
You never knew the power of your meditations.
Wow.
But
Well, you know, I am taking this idea, the difficulty of articulating what the magic is to heart. Well, apparently it also includes, you know, transmogrification. So
absolutely, absolutely.
okay.
But I think most would prefer the old Leoma.
No.
Ray, you're Ray Grunreich.
Yes.
Hi,
Hello, Carol.
we know each other sort of.
Yes,
A year
yes,
ago, we were in the car together.
yes. Good to see you.
Yeah, or maybe I was with Nancy.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I came up to deliver some books to Leoma and just discovered that she exists in the flesh still. I haven't seen her except on Zoom for months. Good to see each of you.
Yeah,
Brought me
it's great.
John Muir's complete works.
Ah, beautiful. Wonderful.
Really? You'll find how he hated the Indians.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
that's right. He was a racist in the spirit of his era.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Thank you for pre-warning me.
So good to see each of you, and I'm going to let Leoma return to the chair.
All right. Well,
Bye now.
we're just closing out, so you don't need to leave her alone too much.
Bye-bye.
It is 5:30, so I do want to bring this to a close. And once again, invite if there's any other reflections or things that feel they need to be said. I want to make some space for that.
Lovely to see you.
I'd just like to say I went to some of the links that you have at the Earth's 3 Green Hearts to see the campaign for nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like a good effort. I'd really like to get the Biden administration to take this on, leading this campaign. for me.
Yeah, the 30 by 30 campaign. I saw
Yeah.
that you forwarded that around, and that's and again, that's the one that Paul is really saying, this is what we have to do. It's what we have to do for climate. It's what we have to do for the extinction crisis. It's what we have to do for protecting Indigenous rights. So
So I'm planning to get a hold of the local Bernie organization.
mhm.
I know Bernie's in a big, he's in a very powerful position now in the Senate as the chair of the Finance Committee.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've got that on their platform or what, but I'll find out.
Yeah. Oh, that would be good to know, and certainly to push them toward, if at all possible.
Yeah, well, you know, Maggie Yama, she was one of the
Yeah.
founders too. I don't
Okay.
know if she's active with them anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We were just talking about them earlier this afternoon,
Really?
that it might be a good group to reach out to for various reasons and things. So, yeah, and getting Nova Sutras better interconnected with their work, and getting all of them to work on tropical rainforest protection, I think is just
Well, 30 by 30 and
Yeah.
tropical rainforests, they're in
are
there.
a huge piece of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did send a notice out to my mailing lists, including SCAN, Santa Cruz Progressive Email List. You probably got the SCAN
Yeah, I
one.
did. I did.
And I made a local connection by saying I was inspired to do this by Nova Sutras. Because, you know, you're
Thank
supposed
you.
to be giving local news on those email lists,
Right.
or at least on the progressive one.
On the progressive email list. Yeah.
Yeah, there's another Progressive Alliance list that I seem to have gotten a hold of that I sent it to too. I don't know who they are, but I sent
right.
it. Yeah.
If it's getting out there. Oh,
Yeah.
Eric's home. So yep, really is just about time to close out. I
Okay.
did want to share the news that just before I came on, I got an email from Paul
Yeah.
confirming again that things are going well for our friend from Congo.
Oh, good.
Oh, great.
Um,
Good to hear.
still in transit, still waiting to have a final destination, but at least everything is okay for now. But yeah, we're going to need to keep working on making sure that he gets support so that he can be somewhere really safe where he can continue his activism. So
Yeah. Can I just say, I looked up Congo, and there's innumerable conflicts there.
oh yeah, it's been a mess.
Yeah.
Really for centuries since colonialism, but
Yeah.
certainly with the various conflagrations after they got rid of, one of the worst dictators ever. But then it's just been nonstop wars back and forth.
Yeah. Everybody
It's a
there,
very dangerous
almost
place.
everybody there is in a zone of danger if you speak out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I certainly hope Remy can be saved and that he can continue his work.
Yeah.
And his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks
Okay.
for calling us.
So
Thank you.
I'd like to just close with one quick round of you just want to share, one or two words of what's in your heart as you go forth on this equinox, and what you're moving into as we make another trip around the sun.
Glad to be with friends. It was great.
You're
Yeah.
muted.
No, we hear you.
Awe and wonder.
Oh, and wonder.
Gratitude.
And gratitude and anticipation. Things are about to happen.
Great.
Okay. Have a very happy, beautiful, wonderful spring equinox. And we'll see you again really soon. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Is Eric doing well?
Yeah.
No.
I'm coming.
Oh, he's coming to say hello.
Oh, really? Hi.
Hi, guys. Oh, I
Bye.
like this. I like,
I know wherever Carol
that
is
looks
right
like
now.
Tahiti.
you need to be there.
Yeah.
Join me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Nice warm beach. Sounds good. All right. Be
Bye.
well. See